There is a moment in healing no one really prepares you for. The moment after the breakthrough. When the crying slows down, when the chaos quiets, when the pain that used to scream finally whispers. And you realize you're no longer trying to survive, you're learning how to live again. There's a moment after the storm where everything finally becomes quiet. Not the quiet that feels lonely, the quiet that feels like peace. A peace you had to fight for, a peace you weren't sure you'd ever find again. And when that peace finally comes, there's a part of you that whispers, okay, now what? Because healing doesn't stop once the pain fades. Healing continues when life demands that you learn the art of staying healed. Welcome back, beautiful souls. If you're watching this, you've walked a long road. You've been on this journey with me from the breakdown to the rebuilding. Today's episode is where everything begins to shift. So today we're talking about what it means to live after healing, to maintain your peace, protect your energy, and walk in your purpose every single day. This is part 4 of Becoming Whole. And today we're talking about something sacred, how to live in alignment, and how to stay healed once you finally get there. Take a breath, y'all. Settle in. Your spirit has been waiting for this conversation. When you finish the hardest parts of healing, your life gets quiet in a way that feels unfamiliar. You're not chasing closure anymore. You're not replaying old conversations. You're not trying to hold everything together with shaking hands. You start waking up lighter, your body loosens, your heart softens. But here's the part nobody talks about. Peace can feel strange when you've lived in survival for so long. You don't trust it at first. You keep looking around for what might go wrong. You wait for the next hit, the next disappointment, the next familiar hurt. Because chaos used to be your normal. Peace, well, peace feels like a new language your spirit is still learning. But that's where alignment begins. Living in alignment doesn't mean your life is perfect. It means your inner world is finally matching your outer choices. Your peace matches your boundaries. Your values match your actions. Your energy matches your environment. You stop forcing things. You stop abandoning yourself, and you stop shrinking just to be tolerated. Alignment is the moment you stop living from your wounds and start living from your wisdom. You now realize I don't have to go back to who I was. I get to choose who I am now. That's the shift. That's the breakthrough. And that's alignment. But listen, the old you doesn't disappear overnight. She'll come knocking when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're triggered. She'll whisper, maybe you should just go back. At least you knew how to survive there. And although I'm on my healing journey and in alignment, I recently came across an experience that triggered me. And I'll admit that I slipped into a negative thought for longer than I wanted, but I was able to stop and eventually realign my positive emotions. And this is where the art of staying healed begins. Because healing is not proven when everything is calm. Healing is proven when your peace gets tested and you respond differently like I did. You don't explode like you used to. You don't chase closure from people who can't give it. And you don't over-explain yourself to be understood. You don't betray yourself to feel chosen. You choose peace even when it's tempting not to. You choose silence over arguments. You choose rest over burnout. You choose truth over pretending. And you choose yourself without guilt. And that is how you know you're staying healed. Sometimes the old version of you will show up unexpectedly. Not to sabotage you, but to test whether you've truly outgrown the places you once begged to belong to. The messages, the memories, the patterns, the familiar doorways back into who you used to be. But alignment is the quiet decision not to open those doors anymore. At first, keeping those doors closed can be hard. That's why it's important to pause and acknowledge that negative thought. That will help you keep that door closed. You don't owe your past a reunion. You don't owe your old self another round. Your healing is not a loop. It's a direction forward. Peace is precious and rare. And once you have it, you start seeing how loud the world really is. Everyone wants access. Everyone wants your energy, and everyone wants your attention. But alignment teaches you something sacred. Not everyone deserves access to you. You begin to feel selective, protective, intentional. You unfollow quietly, you withdraw gracefully, you release softly. You disconnect peacefully. Not from your bitterness, but from self-respect. Because protecting your peace isn't rude, it's required. So here's a truth most people never reach. Purpose doesn't come before healing. Purpose emerges after. When your mind is clear, your spirit finally speaks. When the noise fades, your calling becomes audible. You begin noticing what pulls you forward, what feels natural, what feels aligned, what feels like you. You're no longer living from deficit. You're living from overflow. And that overflow becomes your purpose. Alignment is not one big choice. It's 100 small ones. And every day, ask yourself, does this honor my peace? Does this reflect my healed self? Is this a decision aligned with who I am becoming? And y'all, when the answer is no, you let it go. Even if it's familiar, even if it's tempting, even if it once felt like home. Because anything that disturbs your peace is simply too expensive now. There will come a day when the healed version of you becomes your new normal. When calm feels natural, when boundaries feel effortless, when choosing yourself feels automatic. You won't recognize the version of you who settled for chaos, who accepted emotional crumbs, and who tolerated disrespect just to belong. You'll look back with love, not judgment, because that older version of you survived just long enough for you to become who you are now. And that is the art of staying healed. So if you're in this stage where peace feels new, where alignment feels unfamiliar, where old patterns try to return, just breathe. You're not slipping, you're evolving. You are learning the divine balance between healing and staying healed, between peace and protecting it, between knowing who you are and living like it. So before you go to bed tonight, whisper this to yourself. I choose peace, not once, but every day. Because staying healed is the most beautiful promise you will ever keep to yourself. If this message aligned with you, go ahead and subscribe. You're stepping into the softest, most abundant version of yourself.